riders on the storm. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown, like a dog without a bone, an actor out alone, riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road, his brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday, let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet memories will die. Killer on the road, yeah. Girl, you gotta love your man. Girl, you gotta love your man. Take him by the hand, make him understand. The world on you depends, our life will never end. Gotta love your man.
All right, folks. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of our Sports Talk with Chris Heidel. We're back after last week having some confusions with stuff. So, first of all, we want to say Happy Veterans Day to everybody. So,
I got on my
yes,
blue. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Cool. Tonight we're going to have Coach Shimmick on in a minute, then followed by Mike Curry from our good friend from Delaware, who's on ESPN, and then the voice of Georgetown basketball, Rich Chavakin. Okay. So, just a little flustered here. So we're doing okay. So I didn't have to work late
today. Did you guys get any snow up there?
No. It was just brutally cold. That's all it was.
Cold. Oh, I got snow here in North Carolina.
Yeah, I heard that. I saw that.
Yeah. I saw. Yes, I got snow. And I was like.
Yeah, so let's bring in this our first guest. Towson last week took on Villanova. We were going to preview the Villanova game, but we had stuff that we couldn't control. They came up short against the Wildcats, their final game against them. And on the phone, we have Coach Shimmick joining us. So let's bring him in here. Good evening, Coach. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. How are you doing?
Doing well. How about you?
Not bad. Tough loss last weekend to Villanova. You know, a heartbreaking loss at home. You guys fell a little early, but you tried to come back with, you're down 4 points with like 4 minutes to go, and then they just took over and won the game. So what do you guys learn from that game that might help you this weekend?
Well, yeah, I think you look at 3 of our 4 home losses, all to ranked opponents, and with 5 minutes to go in the game, we're in it, and we've got an opportunity. One of those games we're up by 3, and 2 of them we're down by 4. So we've proven we can play. We've proven we can do it, but we just proven we can't finish the way we want to.
Right.
So frustrating. And so, what we learned is we got to play great for 60 minutes.
Yeah, you're coming off a big win a week before that against North Carolina A&T. You guys put up 62, and I was like, wow, 62 points. Jeez. I hope you had some for leftover for Villanova. But, let's talk about that game because we didn't get a chance to talk to you last week because we had situations going on around here. So how good is it to get 62 points in a football game?
No, that was huge, and it was. Felt great for our guys. Very satisfied for our guys, and excited to watch that. It was fun to watch our guys play that way. They were playing free. They were playing, really minimal errors, executing at a high level, and taking care of business. The way we felt like they could. So. That was a great game for us, and wanted to carry that momentum into Villanova. And I think we did for a while as we were going toe-to-toe with, a top 10 team.
That's true. Adam, you have a question?
Yeah. So first of all, congrats on the huge win versus North Carolina A&T a couple weeks ago. And my question to you is, if you could give your quarterback Andrew Indorf a letter grade for the season he's had so far, what would it be?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. When you take in that he has not turned the ball over very many times, I would give him an A for that. As far as executing our offense and doing what we're asking him to do, I think I give him a B on that. There's areas that he needs to grow. There's areas that he needs to get better at. And I think, Andrew, if you talk to him, he'd be the first one to tell you. He would sit here and say, hey, I can do this better. I can do this better. For a guy that was playing high school football in Florida a year ago, to be, close to 2,000 yards and, again, only a couple interceptions. I think he's playing really well.
Yeah, it's not bad for a freshman that he's learning to grow throughout the season. So that might help you carry into next year that he knows what he needs to do. Plus, the offseason he'll be laser focused.
Yeah, I think there's a really good area of improvement that is out there for him, and I think his strength. He's a great learner. He cares about it. He puts the time in. He's compassionate about it. He's doing what he can to lead the team. So there's a lot of positives we can build on, but also areas where I know he wants to get better, and we're excited to help him do that.
Matt, you have a question for Coach?
Yeah, Coach. What areas does your team need to grow?
Yeah, I think, final 5 minutes of the game, kind of like what I was talking about. We just made, we took a 14-10 game with 5 minutes to go to a 28-10 game. And so really not close to what kind of game it was and, how we had really played throughout the course of the entire game. And frustrated for our guys that they don't see the results of that. But also challenge to our guys that, hey, we got to finish, and we've got to maximize every rep and every play.
Yeah. Well, you have to travel up to Albany on Saturday, last road game of the year. You got to win these next two to get 500, pretty much. So you got to, yeah. So that's the goal, right? To get them to get to 6-6, and that's better than. You wanted to be better this year than last year. You were 7-5. This time last year, you had a 4-game winning streak going.
Yeah, so we were trying to finish out the same way this year. Definitely don't want to, give any of these next two games away. We got to take care of business this weekend to get to where we want to get to. Which again, when the season started, we had higher goals than this, but now it is what it is, and we got to do what what's in front of us. Go play great at Albany. Albany's a team that struggled to win, but at the same time, very dangerous opponent.
Yeah, Coach Ambrose is basically he knows this area really well because of his older brother Rob, who used to be the head coach there at Towson. So he knows what Towson football is pretty much. So he knows about you guys. He knows about what what Towson means.
Most definitely. Jared was here on staff. Obviously, Rob was at Towson for a very long time, so a lot of history there. I'm sure a lot of emotion in that game as well. Opportunity for Jared to coach against the team that his brother used to be a head coach at.
Adam, you have a question for him?
Yeah. There's another player I want to spotlight that has had a good year for you guys, and that's John Dunmore. Looking at some of his stats, he's earned a touchdown by receiving, rushing, and passing. So just overall, talk about what John Dunmore has been, to the team as well.
Yeah, John's been a big play guy for us. He sparked our drive last week with a 45-yard touchdown run on a reverse. He made the big catch against Morgan State to take the victory. He had a big catch, it seems like almost every game. He caught really 3 nice balls on Saturday as well, kept drives going. John's been fantastic for us. I think he's got an opportunity to continue to play after college. We've got a lot of NFL teams in here looking at him, and so feel like there's an opportunity for him.
Yeah. Matt, you got the last question for him. Go ahead.
For Albany next week, what do you guys have to do in order to pull out a victory?
Yeah, if you look at our losses, turnovers have played a key in our losses. Last week we had a big one that stopped the drive 2 weeks ago. At Stony Brook, we had a couple turnovers that stopped drives. So we've got to be great holding on to the ball. We got to create some turnovers. We have not gotten many turnovers, which is something that traditionally we've done really well. So we got to win the turnover battle, and then got to put ourselves in great position with field position. And so I think our special teams will be crucial. So I think Albany has done a really nice job of getting people off balance with their defense. I think their defensive line is really good, and they've shown that they've got some explosive playmakers on offense. So really complete game for us. Play better than we did last week to give ourselves a chance.
That's true. Well, Coach, I hope you have a safe trip up to Albany, and we'd love to talk to you next Tuesday, the final game of the year. So I can't believe the season has gone so quickly. I thought we just had we talked to you back in August.
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, Chris.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. So we'll talk to you. I know. We'll talk to you next Tuesday. Safe travels.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
I see.
As always, Coach.
Thanks.
All
right.
Yeah, Chris, it seems like just yesterday.
Yeah, I know. This feels like just yesterday we just got
yesterday I was up there in Maryland, with you going to College Park. I got a chance to finally meet Coach Shimrick in person and be at one of his press conferences and shaking his hand, and it's like
So Towson trying to win their 5th game of the season this Saturday against Albany at 1:00, and you can watch that on Flow Sports. That was Coach Pete Shimrick joining us tonight here on the program. Adam, before we you want to bring in this next guest?
I will. So folks, we know college football season is almost finished. The regular season of college football season is almost done. But college basketball season is starting to heat up, and our next guest is in Raleigh, North Carolina tonight, as he and Terrence Oglesby will have the call on an ACC non-conference game tomorrow night on the ACC network between the UNCG Spartans of the Southern Conference and the NC State Wolfpack. So joining us now to preview the game and talk college basketball as a whole is ESPN broadcaster and our good friend Mike Corey. So Mike, thanks so much for joining us tonight, and just talk about this game you and Terrence are going to have tomorrow night between
Yeah, thanks.
UNCG and NC State.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Hope it's going well. Yeah, we got a busy week coming up. But yeah, I was just here last week. I just did a game on Friday at NC State, and we're back here for this Wednesday. They're playing pretty good. It's obviously early, and it's hard to gauge when you go up against these teams that you probably should beat. Which they did the last game against UAB. Looked pretty good, won by 24. They got a deep team. There's a lot of a lot of talented players in this group.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. Like the ACC men's basketball, it's well balanced. It's pretty, and it's like this time of year we're still stuck in football mode. I am, yeah. So
Right.
it's like,
Right.
like I'll get to the basketball when it comes to like December and January when everything's all done. But how do you balance things back and forth, because you're doing football and basketball, and it's like you're trying to your brain has to switch back and forth, going, okay, I got to go basketball
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, it's just it's a lot more in football. Obviously, you got 100-something guys and double numbers and all this crazy stuff. But no, it's pretty good. A little more familiar now when you get opportunities at different games, and you've been there before, and you kind of know the lay of the land. But yeah, I always get excited about basketball season too, because it's just like, we got a lot of great teams, coaches, a lot of relationships we've had over the years. Just love going back and doing this stuff. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, Friday night you're going to go to Duke. They're taking on Indiana State. I don't think Larry Berg is going to be playing Indiana State. But it's funny. Indiana State is one of these teams that back in the days in the 70s, late 70s, and with Larry Bird, and they never played each other before.
Right.
That's crazy. It's like,
I know.
I think one of them, they should have found out each other in an NCAA tournament or something. But
Exactly.
this is their first meeting ever on Friday night.
Yeah, pretty cool. I think it's going to be pretty neat. I mean, I've been to Duke before, just as a fan, but like a long time ago, just like watching a game. So this is actually going to be my first broadcast at Duke. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. And then all those crazy people there.
Yeah, exactly. Everything.
Were you there? Were you there in the crowd with all those crazy fools? The last
we
time
were behind the bench. We had a couple tickets, like 5 rows behind the Duke bench. This is like, I don't know, maybe like 20 years ago at this point.
Oh my God.
Wow,
Yeah.
Mike. Oh wow.
Yeah, Coach K, probably like 05, 06, 07, something like that. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Coach K all the time. When the first time I ever met him, I was in a press conference with him at the ACC championship game for basketball, and I didn't say anything. And Mike Flynn comes up and he goes, "Hey, Chris, why did you just say anything to Coach K?" I go, "It's Coach K. I'm afraid of saying something stupid."
I would be. I'd be.
Like he'll kindly tell you a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I know he was the best.
Yeah. So let's talk about this game. Duke is coming off. They got the Boozer brothers, and I didn't know his father had kids.
Yeah. Well, this is how you know you're getting older, Chris. Right? When all of a sudden you start seeing the juniors and brothers and all this stuff, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's going to be they're going to be reckoned with this year once again, as always. I feel like as they always are every single year. But Indiana State's cool because I got to do their NIT championship run a couple years ago when they were playing great. Went to Henkel Fieldhouse at Butler and the NIT finals. They lost to Seton Hall, but that was a lot of fun. I think it kind of put them back on the map. Really since Larry Bird, you're right.
Yeah.
People kind of want to follow and see what they were doing. And, obviously a lot of the guys left because they went with Coach Schertz to St. Louis. But, it's okay. I mean, it's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing them again.
Matt, you have a question for Mike?
Yeah. So, what's it going to like? What will it be like being an announcer and going into Duke? And just being in all that atmosphere and environment as an announcer, not a fan.
Yeah, no, I think it's it'll be fun. I mean, that's why I love doing these games. It's like when the crowd speaks for itself, and when they they make the environment what it is. So it's like that makes it easy for me. If somebody scores or hits a big shot, sometimes I won't even say too much after. I'll just be like, Johnson or whatever, and then the crowd, takes over. So I mean, it's an environment that you don't have to worry about. You know it's going to just be awesome every time you're there.
Yeah. Another game you're doing is Sunday. You're going to go down to Memphis. For Memphis and UNLV. I don't think Larry Johnson is showing up either because Larry Johnson was.
I know, right?
and Jerry Carcadian and all those people. But this is a different UNLV. Yeah, this is But back then we know all about those guys. But these guys played each other last year, and Memphis won in Vegas, and they haven't played they haven't beat them since 1970 something. So I guess it's like a real revenge for UNLV on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it's Memphis is doing pretty. I mean, they're gonna have a good team. It's just gonna take them a little while to kind of figure out who they have because it's all brand new. It's like 15 new guys. Now one person was there last year, so it's interesting. But that's a tough place to play. They're going to get like 15-something thousand people there. It's where the Grizzlies play, of course, FedEx Forum. It's always a fun atmosphere. I really love doing Memphis games there. UNLV coming to town. Obviously, a lot of people want to see that. I think it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game. I don't know who's going to come out on this one because I've done Memphis blowout wins at home before, and I've also done like upsets like Arkansas State last year, beating Memphis on their home court. So we'll see. But regardless, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Adam, you have another question?
Yeah. So for you folks who don't, you should watch the UNLV at Memphis game on Sunday on ESPN because Mike is going to work with a analyst who knows all about the American Conference, all about the mid-majors, and Mark Adams. So it's like, what's it like to work with a gentleman like Mark on American Conference basketball?
Yeah, he's been great at him. I mean, he's just like a really great friend of mine. We've been working together for many, many years. What he does is he combines a lot of things that you think with analysts that you have to be successful. Like he always has some really good stories. He always dives into each team. He always looks for an angle, something that we can use that makes sense within the broadcast. It's never about him or his idea. It's just like he wants to make it fun. And he makes it fun. He has really good ideas. We laugh on the air. I know he's going to come prepared. We have a bunch of graphics and ideas. It's like, and he knows the game. If he has to go X's and O's and why is coach doing this and that. And that's what makes up a well-rounded analyst to me. And not to mention that he's just a great person and fun to be with. So that's what really makes him all well-rounded. But yeah, Mark Adams, a lot of fun. We'll be on that one together. He's already been texting me and calling me with his ideas. And, I want to get on top of it because he's always way ahead of me. But I'm like, oh man, I got this game Wednesday. I got a game Friday. Then I'll see you Sunday. But he's putting a lot into it. And that's what you got to do. You got to manage it. You got to balance it. I love the people I work with though. We got a really good group.
And also also another analyst that I know you love working with is Debbie Antonelli. And she does an amazing job both on the men's side and women's side. You just talk about what's it like to work with the legend.
Yeah.
Nelly.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. No, I got to work with her last week, and I told her so much. I mean, I said, of the pioneers and the people that have really done an amazing job on TV, that know their stuff, at least in terms for the women, like I have her right up in there in that category with like Doris Burke, and those type of people, you know what I mean? So it's like they're excellent. She's phenomenal. I mean, she's in 3 different Hall of Fames. Knows the game, went to NC State, of course, coach, played. I mean, it's, when you have a wealth of knowledge like that, you're never worried because she's going to be able to carry, the broadcast. It's really more about the analysts and the people that, I work with. It's not about me because they know the game and they have great stories.
And she does really well and she has a son who has just like Adam, right? I think,
Yeah, it's called. Yeah, she has a son who also has autism, and it's like to see her as a mom, dealing with this, I think is incredible, amazing. And I know she has I believe it's for every shot, like a free throw.
Correct.
Yes, and it's like she has raised Chris. It's called. We need to find a way to get her on sometime.
Yeah, I'm trying to track her down. Yeah.
It's called. She has raised a lot of money. It's called. She does it for 24 hours, and it's like she's out there at like 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. and it's like I've seen the videos, Mike, and it's like what she does is simply amazing. And it's like there's a way I could find a way to do it with her. I mean, if I live close to her, I would do it. She's an incredible woman.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. It's a great event that she does every year with the free throws, and you're right, a full day event. It's just a lot of dedication, and giving back to the game. So yeah, kudos to her for sure.
So what she do with the free throws? Should we keep this going every hour and just keep going and pump them in, or?
I'm not sure the exact. I don't want to speak out of turn on how the whole thing works, but
we'll
I'd have to look it up. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like maybe take one shot at 1 in the morning, take a nap, take one at 2. Yeah. Like to me, I'm thinking like I could do like 5, and I'm done for the day.
Right, I know.
Yeah. Also, the reason we're having you on, you did a football game this year against North Texas in Charlotte.
Yeah,
the guy had 600 yards total pass.
Yes.
Yeah. What was it like watching a guy just throwing dimes better than Danny Dimes, the guy in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, it was like it took me a minute to realize that he had. We were definitely like tracking it. I mean, we would update. 200 yards. I think he had like 250 already. He 600 plus yards. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was North Texas has got offense, man. I know everybody always says like, hey, defense was championship. When you have offense, you're never out of the game. You know what I mean? What happens if you give up 21 or 28 points? Like you always feel confident when you got offense, you can come back and win it. But yeah, that guy's special, man, for a redshirt freshman. Pretty amazing. That's the maker.
Yeah, and basically, like you said, like he just your defense and it's just the way they. It was just his night. Some people have career nights like Brett Favre, which his father passing away. He threw like 4 touchdowns against Oakland. It's like
I know
the way it is. Some people are just hot one night, and the next week he's like, "Oh, I can't throw a touchdown pass for the love of me." Seriously.
Yeah, that's the NFL, man. A little bit. I think people get all like, "I don't understand." It's like, no, it's like really, it's like just like what you said, Chris. It's like. One week you suck, and the next week you're a world beater. Like you really are. Like it's like you almost have to do the opposite of like whatever happens to that team the first week because it's hard. There's like really good teams, and this is exactly what the NFL wanted. They wanted all this parity. They wanted everybody close, spreads and whoever to win each week. But I can't believe it's like Brady Manning again. We got New England and Indianapolis at the top of the list.
Exactly. Matt, you got a question for Mike?
Yeah. So did you watch that Indiana Penn State game last week?
I did. I was home, and it was my daughter's birthday. She turned 7, and we're watching the game, and we're about having cake or whatever. So it's like me, my brother, another guy. We're in the other room. My wife's like, Mike, we got the cake. I'm like, yeah, no, we're gonna be right there. I'm like, don't you love it when you watch these like awesome plays and these catches that like are legal that he was in or whatever? The minute I see that, like I don't know if there's anybody in America that like honestly say they thought he was in bounds initially. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like, boom, he's out. And you're like, oh my God, he got him. I'm like, there's no way he got in bounds. And then it's like they show the replays. I'm just like, this guy is unreal. Like that your body's all leaning out and he still has the wherewithal to get both feet down. I mean, it's like it really was the catch of the year. I always not like to go, that's the best catch you'll ever see. Like, you never know. Like,
I know. Mike.
I know.
Yeah.
But that was awesome catch.
Yeah.
What do you think of that last drive, though? Indiana had to drive for a touchdown win, and they got it. I mean, and they're playing at Penn State, so the fans were all into the game and stuff. So talk
Yeah.
about the resiliency that Indiana had to have.
Well, what they have is they have confidence, right? I mean, it's not your old school Indiana team, you know. So anybody that's playing on that team, regardless how they got there, whatever money they're making, who gives a crap? They have confidence and they know they're going to win. Like I almost expected that, not from Indiana, but like this Indiana team. Yeah, you're like, I mean, they didn't really worry, which is crazy. They got their fourth down stop. They got them to punt it. And then they went to work, honestly, like it was the Patriots and Tom Brady. They're like, all right, what we got? What we need? Touchdown, bing, 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 bing. I mean, and there was like time to spare, wasn't there? Like when they
Yeah. Yeah, there
It
was.
was like about 35
30
seconds.
seconds. I know. It's like it was just like dissecting, clockwork. I mean, so yeah, I gave them a lot of credit for like not, faltering, not getting too crazy. You're right. Penn State, it's Penn State.
Right.
Even though they're way down this year, I get it.
Yeah.
It's just two teams in terms of mindset. Penn State's going to lose all those games this year because that's the kind of year they're going to have. And Indiana's winning all those kind of games a year because that's the mentality they have. So I hope they win it all, Hoosiers. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
my-
I was at a birthday party, and just like you, I had a birthday party. I was having Nicole's sister's 1-year-old birthday party for her daughter, and I'm sitting here on my phone going, "Okay, Penn State's up 24-20." I was like, "Are you serious?"
Right.
And I'm like, and I'm outside, and then all of a sudden I say under review. I'm like, "Okay, what's an under review?" I'm like, "All right," and then 5 minutes later, I checked on my phone, going, "Holy shit, they won!" I'm like,
Yeah. I know.
Sorry for the language, but I was like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit!"
Now, earlier in the year, you saw BYU up close and personal versus Portland State out there in Provo. And I know they just lost Saturday to Texas Tech in Lubbock. So, what's your overall take on how BYU has been this year? I don't think anyone really had them, being the way they are, especially having Bear Bachmeier as quarterback.
Bachmeier he's really good. Yeah, he stepped right in. I thought, I didn't know when they were gonna, I thought this was gonna be a tougher game for sure. I don't think they were gonna go undefeated, but I mean, they got a chance, right? I mean, they're you can still make it. I mean, that's a great thing now about these games. It's like and having 12 teams and it's just more opportunity. It's more fun. I don't know why they wouldn't have thought of this, just it's usually about the money anyway. And now there's more games, so there's more money. So it's just like, let's see some teams battle it out here. I'd like to see them in the mix. We'll see if they can get there.
Yeah.
Well, they could get in, if they have to play Texas Tech again in the Big 12 championship game. And,
Yeah.
I think, to me, I think the winner of the Big 12 championship is going to be the only qualifier into the college football playoff. Because you look at the Big Ten, probably going to have 3. You're probably going to have either 4 or 5 from the SEC, I think.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is, but, we
Yeah.
all have our takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I look at it right now. The rankings came out. We won't know anything until the end of the year anyway.
Sure.
It's like right now it's like Miami's 15, everybody's 14. We'll see what after the ACC championship game and all those title games. Who's going to be the final 12.
Yeah.
And I was thinking they should do with this college football playoff. I think they should. I know all the different teams are different, but they should represent all the different conferences in this playoff.
I know.
James Madison should be in for the Sun Belt, and then you got the American, like we'll say somebody in there. I just don't feel like
I agree, Chris.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to expand it even a little bit more because then you're just going to tick off all the great SEC teams or whatever that had like one loss and then make it in. And we had to bring the Sun Belt champion in, which I think is valid because, it's like the NCAA tournament. All right, fine. Well, you get a really hard game and you're probably going to get destroyed, but that's okay. That's your reward for getting into the tournament. I mean, you won your conference. It's like, that's got to mean something, apples to apples with all those teams. And I used to laugh when there was only 4 teams, like this whole committee thing. First off, I think they need to be ranking it for the beginning of the season. It just goes from the AP to all of a sudden now the college football playoff people. It's like, hey, what the hell? were we looking at the AP? Like, this should just be one ranking or something. I don't know. It's very confusing. And it was like, when you only had 4 teams, it's like, what the hell are you even ranking them for? Like, it'll all shake itself out at the end anyway. Like, once we get to the final situation, we're like, yep, Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State. Like, it was like my daughter could have picked the final 4, when we
I
needed
could
4
have
teams.
picked the
Like,
final
it was
4.
only 4 to 5,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it was so easy. Like, oh, one team is upset, the 5th or 6th. Yeah, but it wasn't hard. Now at least it's more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Well, Mike, I thank you for coming on tonight, and I hope you have a great week at broadcast and save that voice, because I know you had that last week. You're telling me you're like, don't stretch it out. Just drink some iced tea or something. Just
I'm trying because it's not 100%, but I'll be all right. We're gonna battle through. We got
get a stunt devil. Get a stunt devil to come in.
Yeah. Hey, really good to see you guys again. I know it's been a while.
Thank you, Mike. It's been always a pleasure.
Yeah, you guys have a great week. All right, we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family too.
Thank you.
Happy
Same to you
Thanksgiving,
guys.
and enjoy Kevin
man.
Indoor Stadium as a broadcaster.
All right,
Thank
see
you.
you. All right, bye.
Thanks, Mike. Oh, I love Mike Corey.
Mike Corey, who I met
about
long
water.
time ago at Delaware, the first year we started doing this, Matt, and I ran into him in like the press box, and he was like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Mike." I'm like, "Oh, I'm Chris. How you doing?" And that's how we started talking.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy.
Yes.
Let's bring this next guest, Matt or Adam. You want to welcome this next one in?
Sure. So, speaking of college basketball, the early season, the Georgetown Hoyas are doing quite well in their non-conference season in the Big East with a good record. So let's bring in the talented voice of the Georgetown Hoyas. Rich Savakin is joining us tonight. So, Rich, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And what's your overall take so far on how the Georgetown Hoyas are looking in this early season of college basketball?
Well, Ed Cooley decided to upgrade the schedule, and number one, they went on the road to 2 exhibition games, beat Georgetown GW, and then beat Kentucky in Kentucky. Although Kentucky wasn't at 100%, but still to beat Kentucky in Lexington before 19,000 fans was a big victory. And then they came back home. They won their opening ball game against Morgan State, and then a good victory in their last outing against Maryland, where they had Maryland to just 60 points, 4 assists, and Maryland shot 23% from the floor. That's pretty good defense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I was doing some research on Georgetown beating Maryland. That's the first time they beat Maryland at Maryland, and you got to go back to 1964.
Yes,
that is crazy.
Yes.
Like with all the good teams that John Thompson had, and with Lonzo Mourning and Patrick Ewing, and they couldn't beat the Terps in College Park. That's crazy.
Yeah, they beat them a few times on neutral sites, but never did beat them in College Park. Yeah.
Right. I was just fascinated by it. I'm like, that's crazy. And I'm like, they never beat them at College Park until like 1964, until last Friday. It's crazy.
I remember my first game, a Georgetown, Maryland game, when I first started doing the broadcast in 1974. And we played Maryland at the old Cap Center.
Oh, yes.
I was doing that game. We used to use radio lines. And I said, you know what? I'm going for broke. I'm going to get an extra phone just in case. So it went big time. And there we were. And we lost, I think, 104 to 71 or 101 to 74. And Maryland was loaded. I mean, John Lucas and Mo Howard. I mean, they had a great ball club. But I mean, the rivalry, I'm glad they've renewed it. It's good for the DMV. It's good for both schools. And I hope that Georgetown continues to play. They're scheduled for 3 more years, and I hope that rivalry continues.
Yeah, they need to, because we need this in this area, because people don't realize up here we're in Towson area. It's a lot of local good Maryland, Baltimore County teams like Towson, Morgan. You guys played Morgan, Coppin, and it's like it's good to show what goes on in the state of Maryland instead of just like the DC area and that's it.
And Georgetown went in their heyday too, recruited great kids out of Baltimore. As you will know, the kids from Dunbar, obviously Reggie Williams and David Wingate, just to name a few.
Right. Adam, you have a question for him?
Yeah. So, Rich, this year marks return of a network back to the Big East and ESPN, and ESPN covered the Big East for a very, very long time. So, what's your overall take on having ESPN and the Big East Conference back as a overall sports media member?
Well, I'm glad that the ESPN's back on. Obviously they have a large radio and television audience, and I hope that again, I think the brand is good. The Big East brand is on a national scale. Of course, Fox covers most of it, but it's good to have ESPN back on. The worldwide leader in sports. It's good to have. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that ESPN Plus is having, at least non-conference, Big East action. I know they had the game, Morgan State and Georgetown. I know they're covering other Georgetown games as well. And I remember, back in the day, ESPN had Big Monday, and they always had Big East as a 7:00 game, and it was like when I heard the news, I was like, "It's about time!" Yes. And it's like I love watching all of Georgetown athletics, not just men's basketball. I know Georgetown has a good soccer program. I know Georgetown has a good women's basketball team as well. So overall, it's nice to see the Big East Conference and ESPN finally back together again.
Years ago, you used to get the game, Big East Monday night game of the week. Mike Gorman used to do it, and Mike Chalink did a couple of Big East Monday night games of the week. That was the good old days in the 90s. Yes. And now it's like you're on all kinds of networks. The wealth. And if you don't have these sports packages, you could be out of the cold.
True. That's true.
I have YouTube TV, and the whole ESPN thing is like not working anymore. So I decided to get the app, and I'm thinking about dropping YouTube TV because what's the sense of using it?
A lot of games now are on Peacock. I mean, they spread the wealth all the way around.
Oh, they do, yeah.
You have to have a TV guide to know who's playing where and when.
True.
Yeah. I agree. And Rich, back then when you got when I was born in the 80s, so I know all about the old way of TV was.
Sure.
But I didn't have cable until my brother had money from his first job. Said, "I'm going to buy cable, Dad." So we could watch basketball and all that stuff. I'm like, that's cool. But we had basic TV, so these games were not. I didn't even know about these games until the next morning when I was on the school bus. Hey, did you watch that game last night? No.
I remember in the earlier years, you'd play on a Wednesday night at 8:00 and a Saturday afternoon at 2:30 or Saturday night. Then they start switching to Tuesday nights and then Monday nights and then Thursday. Now we have games on Friday. So it just scrambles. And so if you think you're going to have a set schedule, it's not going to happen.
Right. So let's talk about this game tomorrow night against the Bobcats of Binghamton, New York. You got another home game before you got to take on Clemson over the weekend. So I guess two straight home games are at the Capital One Arena. So I guess a Wednesday night game. Did they bring a lot of people in there for a Wednesday night game?
Well, I don't think the fan base will be rocking and reeling tomorrow night for Binghamton. I think they should be a good crowd for Clemson on Saturday. Ed Cooley's trying to build a brand and get a home court advantage. But I think for Binghamton, they'll really split it. Binghamton has a center named Demetrius Lilly. I mean, he is a wide body, a double man. So they're going to really have to defend him in the post. And, of course, the lead guard, Jeremiah Quickly, is the transfer from initially Iona, and then he played at George Mason. And they have three guys who are from the Washington, D.C. area. So, I don't think it's going to be that easy game for Georgetown, even though Binghamton did get blown out by Syracuse.
Right. Matt, you have a question for Rich?
Yeah, so looking at the ACC basketball, who do you think are like the top three teams of the conference?
You're talking about the Big East or the ACC?
The Big East.
Well, you're talking about the Big East? Well, obviously the Big East, St. John's and Connecticut are very, very strong. They're obviously, top five in the country, although St. John's got beat by Alabama in a freaking horse race war the other day at Madison Square Garden. But then you have Creighton. They're always a good ball club. And then anybody else, you look at that league, if you don't bring it 40 minutes every night, you face an L, and you're playing at some very, very tough foreign venues. When you go on the road, playing at a place like Tinker Fieldhouse against Butler, playing at Villanova, at Villanova. So you're going to have to bring it. But I think the strong part of the conference will be St. John's as well as Connecticut. Creighton, always a good ball club. And then the rest of the conference is really up in the air.
Yeah.
And then, well, I do got one more question. Well, I remember back in the day when Georgetown used to get into the tournament, like as a Big East team and everything. And do you think that they have a chance of getting into the tournament this year?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the things that Georgetown has decided to do, and I think very smart, everybody else has decided to do the same thing, you have to upgrade your schedule. Because if you finish, let's say, at 9-9 in the conference or 10-10 in the conference at 500, and you don't have a strong strength of schedule, you're not going to get in. So what they've done, they've upgraded. They're playing Maryland, they're playing Clemson, they're playing North Carolina, they're playing the tournament in Kissimmee, Florida. So they're playing 5 or 6 real good teams prior to conference play. And if you do well in that, you have a very good chance of getting into the tournament.
Yeah. Well, Rich, I was just looking at Georgetown's schedule. You got North Carolina in the first week in December.
Yes,
You know, down there in Chapel Hill. That's an old-fashioned rivalry there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So,
and of course, that, Dayton, Miami, and BYU is in the tournament in Florida, which is a very good field. They have Clemson, and Clemson, as you know well, though, have been playing very well of late. And tonight looks like they're blowing out Moorhead, so they're going to come into Georgetown 3-0, like winners like by 50 points each ball game, and they're a tough ball club. I looked at their roster. I mean, Brad Brownell is really loaded up. He's got players from all over the West. Utah Valley, from Nevada. I mean, a couple of guys that we had once before, and so they're going to be a real tough ball game on Saturday.
yeah. I do need to ask you about Villanova. Willard used to be the coach at Maryland. Now he went up to Philadelphia. What's your take on that? Because I feel like around here he's like a marked man because I think people at College Park don't like him anymore.
Well, he did a great job at Seton Hall. Came over to Maryland. Obviously, that he wasn't very happy with what he was getting at Maryland. Decided to go back to the Philadelphia, New Jersey area where he spent most of his life. I mean, he spent 12 years at Seton Hall.
Right.
He was there at Iona. So he's kind of when you look at where his pedigree comes from, it comes from that area. He did a good job at Maryland. Look, he took him to the Sweet 16. They're a good ball club, but I guess he didn't feel it was a good fit and then moved down. I think he'll do a great job at Villanova.
Right, exactly. Well, Rich, I appreciate you coming on tonight, and thank you so much for understanding last week. I was stuck in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So,
what I was going to tell you, I'm from Scranton originally. I said take a ride back to my hometown and say hello to some of my relatives.
Yeah, I should have known you earlier. I would have called them and said, "Can I borrow your computer?"
Well, anytime, gentlemen. I love to talk hoops, and this is the time of year where everybody's getting into it. I mean, this is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's really, really good to get back into it. Now the games are starting earlier. Starting the first week in November. Years ago, my first year, you didn't play till Thanksgiving.
Right.
And
Wow.
now the first week of November, and your tournaments are going on. Whoever thought last year we'd be playing postseason play in Vegas? What the
Right.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That's nuts.
It's
Oh,
amazing.
Rich, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks again. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Rich.
Bye.
Oh,
That's good to have the voice of
Georgetown. Yes.
Georgetown.
Yeah. I remember Big Monday when it was the Big East,
definitely.
and then it was.
Oh yeah, that was on basic
It
TV.
was like
remember?
the
Yeah.
Big 8 or the Big 12, and then end of the night with the Mountain West Conference, or before that the WAC, and it's like, yeah, I remember them days.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I remember it was
that
on
stuff.
basic
That was back
TV.
in the day.
Oh, I remember Basic TV. Yeah. You mean when you had the antenna?
Yeah, and I remember
You
Fox
had to move
5
the antenna around, and it was like, to get there,
Yeah. Well, my parents' house. We used to get Channel 5 in DC somehow.
Okay.
And that used to be the home of the Big East basketball on
Yes, yeah, ESPN Regional Television.
Yeah, so it was part of the Jefferson Pilot Sports.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
or whatever they call it, Raycom or whatever. But it was
Raycom,
like,
yes.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember like they had these weird commercials for the Big East, like like Harrington, the guy used to play for Georgetown.
Oh yeah.
And he
Phil
goes,
Harrington.
Oh, they're at Harrington. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Big East used to be like the way they set basketball up.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, John Thompson and
John
Boeheim.
Thompson. Oh yeah. Jim. Yeah. Oh yeah, when St. John's was before Rick Pitino, when it was Lou Carnesecca.
Yeah. So
And
let
that's
me.
when Georgetown actually got into the tournament frequently.
Yeah, they did. They did. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and plus Georgetown won. They used to have Patrick Ewing
Oh,
and
of course they did. Oh, yeah.
Morning.
Alonzo. Yeah.
And they called Georgetown back then. They were like the bad boys because they started fights with people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. John Thompson. John Thompson was a big man.
He
was
was.
a big man.
Yeah,
You don't want to get that man mad. Yeah. So I'm going to call Pete here because he's actually, I think he's in flight because all this stuff going on with the government shutdown. He said he was going to be delayed. So let me give him a call and see if he's ready. So you guys talk about whatever you need to talk about. So go ahead.
Sure.
Adam,
okay, Matt. It's called Utah College Football Rankings.
Adam, so I was just going to say the same thing. Who do you think should be number one in the country? Well, who do you think should be 1, 2, and 3?
I think it should be Ohio State, then Texas A&M, and then Indiana. I think Ohio State, in my opinion, yes, they did beat Texas to start the year, but Texas has improved a little since then. But the way Ohio State has been playing, I don't see anyone stopping them, except
Michigan.
they have to face Indiana in the Big Ten title in Indianapolis.
So because a lot of people I know are saying that Texas A&M should be number one in the country. How do you feel about that?
Well, I know Texas A&M is, undefeated. They have a sensational quarterback in Marcel Reed, and to me right now, I think it's going to be Texas A&M and Alabama in Atlanta for the SEC title. They're the two best teams in the SEC right now. Obviously, Texas A&M does still have to face Texas on Thanksgiving weekend. It's a rivalry game as well, so that could go a long way. Ever since the Alabama loss to Florida State, Alabama has been playing on another level. The way Ty Simpson has been playing, he deserves to go up to New York and contend for the Heisman. But Chris, I think you're ready with our next guest.
Yes. Do you want to welcome in this next?
Sure. So, folks, on Sunday, the Minnesota Vikings sadly lost to the Baltimore Ravens at home. And in joining us now to recap the game is former Minnesota Viking star, now turned broadcaster, Pete Persich. So, Pete, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And let's talk about the game versus the Ravens. J.J. McCarthy, he looked really good for the Vikings. So, what did you see in J.J., that could get you guys a win in the weeks ahead?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, you're on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're on. Go ahead.
I apologize. It was a little hard to hear.
That's okay.
Well, I think with JJ, he's a young quarterback, and I would say his last two games are a lot different than his first two games. I think what he has shown is some accuracy and anticipation, and I think the accuracy side of it, you guys saw it with the couple receptions by Jalen Naylor, one on a wheel route, the other one in the back of the end zone. So there's potential there. I think some of the bumps in the road came with kind of managing the process, right? Managing the offense, managing the huddle. A lot of that, I think, led to false starts and those issues that the Vikings had. And, those are when you lose a game, you gotta sit down, take a look, and say what's the easiest thing to fix. What is in your control, immediate control to fix. And penalties are a big one, and turnovers are a big one. Pre-snap penalties are a huge one. And right now, those are two areas that are really a thorn in the side of the Vikings right now. It's the pre-snap penalties. I believe we're tied for the most pre-snap penalties in the league, and you look at the turnover ratio, we're second most in turnovers, and in differential we're sitting at -7. So that's those are hard things to overcome, even harder when you have a younger quarterback. But I think his leadership and some of the improvements that he's been making week to week, we'll see. It's a week by week process, man. It's not. You guys know this, and it's not easy breaking in a new quarterback.
Right. Yeah, you had Sam Donald last year because McCarthy got injured. So now you're bringing him back in after a year away from the team because he was injured, and then he gets hurt, and then you're like, okay, let me bring Carson Wentz. Bring him in. He did okay until he lost to the Eagles and turned the ball over. And now he's back to J.J. McCarthy, and it's like you guys are going backwards a little bit. It's like, okay, what's going on here?
We've been down that road. Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles, and then we had Pastronaut, and we had all kinds of guys coming and going, and then the Vikings made the decision two years ago or 2 seasons ago to draft J.J. McCarthy, and then obviously in his rookie year he had a meniscus problem, so Sam Darnold got the opportunity, and you see all the success that Sam Darnold had last year and is continuing to have. But the problem is the decision that J.J. McCarthy is the future was made when they drafted him 10th overall, two drafts ago. So, in 2024. So you have to, that's the thing. The organization made a decision, they made it, you got to live with it. We're all thankful for what Sam Darnold was able to do, and it's awesome to see him continue his success in Seattle. In fact, we'll be playing him in a couple of weeks out in Seattle, so may not be as thankful then when we go out there. But this was going to happen, yes, and it's been frustrating that the entire season last year was lost to injury, and then 5 weeks this year, I believe he was out as well. So it's been fits and spurts, but he needs to stay healthy for the rest of the year because you're still a season away from knowing what you have. Maybe not until the end of next year do you really have a good feel for who J.J. McCarthy is and what he can be. It's just it takes a long time.
Right. Well, this Sunday you're home against the Bears, and Williams looks like he's getting better and better each week. After last week, he came back and beat the Giants, at the last minute. So, and then the week before that, he was having a shootout against Joe Flacco in Cincinnati. So it's like, I think he's getting better as a quarterback after this is year 2 for him, right?
Yeah, Ben Johnson's really changed things for them. Ben Johnson's bringing that level of aggressiveness. I think that's kind of the thing that the Bears have kind of been struggling at quarterback since the forward pass was invented. And I can say that because I grew up in Chicago, so I grew up a Bears fan. I can say that, but he's brought a very aggressive mentality, and that's when you watch the film against the Giants. There were 8 drops, I believe, by the wide receivers, if not more than that, but at least 8. And man, Caleb Williams is getting that football down the field, and that's what they're calling. There was a turnover on downs on the Giants side of the 50. It was on the 47-yard line. Next play, boom, they try to take a shot to DJ Moore deep down the middle of the field. That's what Ben Johnson wants to do, is install that killer mentality. And it's just taken a little while for him, I think, to buy into it. They've had, 4 games now where they've been behind with 2 minutes or less to go in the game, and they've come back and won, all 4 of those. So, yes, incrementally, he's getting better. Still, as he's learned as a young quarterback, he still does not throw the football away. Not a lot of interceptions, which has probably been the most impressive part of seeing him
grow up. But I think right now he is probably the most mobile quarterback in the NFL. And I don't maybe not run just as a pure runner, but I'm saying as a pocket presence and a guy that can move in the pocket. When Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau are free to the quarterback and miss, not just once, not just twice, but 4 or 5 times, they just had the hardest time bringing them down. And so, Caleb Williams is definitely an X factor because regardless of the shape of the offensive line, regardless if you can get a guy free, you still have to bring down Caleb Williams, and right now that's not an easy thing to do.
Right, exactly. I saw him here against the Ravens a couple weeks ago, and he was okay, but I think they should have put more points on the Ravens. They marched down that field in the first quarter, and I thought it was going to look like the Texans game again. Like they're going to stuff it down the Ravens defense, and everybody here in Baltimore goes, "Oh, this is terrible. We lost again by 45 points." But I guess it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the Bears struggled in the red zone quite a bit. They got a little pass happy in the red zone, and they struggled there. But they're getting better, and they've been the bottom of the division for a few years in a row here now. And right now the Vikings are on the bottom looking up at the 6-3 Bears and the 6-3 Lions, right? And then the 5-3-1 Green Bay Packers. So, the Vikings definitely have their work cut out for them. And this division seems like it's getting nothing but more difficult to play in.
Yeah. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. You're a former Notre Dame guy. So this weekend, big game in Pittsburgh against the Panthers. So do you remember any of those games against the Panthers when you were in college?
I remember back when they had Alex Van Pelt, and I actually remember going to Pitt and playing in a game in Pitt. And I don't know if this is back in the 90s now, back when they had AstroTurf. And I don't know if you'd ever been in the stadium, but that field had the biggest crown I had ever seen in my life. When you stood on the sideline, you could only see the guys on the other bench from the waist up because the field came up that high. In fact, I remember pregame we spent more time throwing out routes and routes to the sideline for the quarterbacks and receivers because you run an out route. It's like you fell off the edge of the earth. You dropped at least 3 or 4 feet. I remember playing against Alex Van Pelt back in the day. Very, very good quarterback. And, I think that was probably my sophomore year. Might have been the last time we played you guys. I can't remember.
Wow. Yeah, this weekend's a big game for Notre Dame because, they're going to Pittsburgh. And it's funny to me, it seems like it's like not an ACC game because Notre Dame is still independent right now. And my buddy Matt and I were talking about this today. Do you think Notre Dame should get to a conference? Because if you look at it, the ACC is going to 9 games next year. The Big Ten is going to 9. The SEC is going to 9. It looks like all these non-conference games are going to be the wayside by the time next couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know the business of that all too well as far as what that's going to benefit the football program. I know they fought to stay independent. I know one of the reasons that Notre Dame didn't want to join the Big Ten is because the Big Ten wouldn't let Notre Dame in many, many years ago because they didn't want a Catholic school, I guess, in the Big Ten. So Notre Dame said, "All right, fine, you don't want us. We're not going to join you." So I don't know. Well, they've been able to do it. When I was there, it was the first time that Notre Dame signed a big contract with NBC.
Okay.
And so they were kind of able to operate and make money outside of having to join a conference. But I don't know, again, if that's a viable business model anymore. And Notre Dame, I know they do, they do all the different payments differently than a lot of schools do. And they've been still, again, able to survive and be successful. So I think Coach Freeman is doing an outstanding job. I think he's the right guy for that school because it's just a different place, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. And I'm very proud of all those guys. Even though they put turf in and put flowers in the stadium, because when Rocky's house didn't have sport grass, it had regular grass.
Right.
And then you turn on and you see all the flowers and stuff. It's like, that's not intimidating. Anyway.
I know. I hate when people update stadiums. It's like why are you touching it? Leave it alone. Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, Chris, like Florida State, what they did. It's like, why did they have to do what they did?
Cool to have a say in any of that stuff. So I'm just another empty head talking.
Hey, it's like here in Baltimore with Camden Yards. It's a nice ballpark when it first came out. It was like the classic old school. Now they ruined the left field wall because they wanted to cut down the home runs by the other team. I'm like, okay. First of all, if you have better pitching, you may not have to worry about that. Come on now.
And that's kind of unfortunate. I actually had this conversation this morning with Paul Allen, the guy who does our play-by-play. He has a radio show in town. And we were just talking about how back in the day, how stadiums were such an advantage. Right now, the Vikings are struggling with a home field advantage. I mean, we're 1-3 at home this year.
Right.
And the stadium is a beautiful stadium and it's wonderful. But back in the day, I remember going to Pontiac to play the Lions when the Lions agreed to move to back into the city, and the police escort. They never turned their lights on. They just let us sit in traffic like everybody else, or going to Candlestick Park and having to walk out of the locker room upstairs to go to the field, and there's water coming down the stairs like it was a waterfall. It just all the different places you would play. Some of them were just awful. I mean, anybody that's ever played in Philly back in the day when they had the warning track in the one end of the end zone, and the turf would literally fall off about 3 or 4 inches. Those things are. The fields are also nice now. The stadiums are also good. I think they kind of made them too nice. You got to have a little character in there somehow. Some oddities. I mean, look at Wrigley Field and Fenway. Those are in baseball. Those are two of the most nostalgic places around.
Yeah.
But they're also, in modern day, not the best ballparks. So they don't seat a lot of people and blah blah blah. So we kind of, I guess, sold our souls in that regard a little bit.
Exactly. Well, Pete, we're up against the clock here, but thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Well, Chris, can I just ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Real quick.
So with the Irish, with them getting to the playoff last year, and then possibly getting to the playoff this year, talk about their success the past 2 seasons.
I put a lot of that on Coach Freeman. I'm so busy on Saturdays and all that when I don't get a chance to watch him as much as I would like to. So I can't necessarily point to any specific players or anything like that. But I think that they have kind of established themselves a little bit like Iowa in that it's a good place for linemen to go. It's always because it's outside and it's up north that you're going to have a good running game. And it's brought in a lot of good running backs as well. I credit Freeman for being able to win in that kind of environment, because it's a tough place to get kids into school. And they don't sit there necessarily and rob the portal. They're trying to do things, I think, the right way for the students, and still managing to win at the same time. So, good. I just wish them the best.
Exactly. All right, Pete, thanks so much for coming on tonight. Thank you so much for understanding for last week with my my trip to Allentown, Pennsylvania. I got stuck up there. Yeah. So.
No problem, man. Everybody right now has got some traveling stories.
Exactly. So I was home early today. I'm thinking like, all right, guess I don't have to. I'll just take a nap before I go in the air at 8 o'clock. That'll be good. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah. All right, sir. Thank you so much. We'll keep in touch.
All right, guys. Yeah, anytime. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
See you, bye. All right. That was Pete Birch, who used to play for Notre Dame, and now he's part of the Vikings broadcast, and they're going to play the Bears this Sunday at 1 o'clock on, I think that's on Fox. But
yes.
But Notre Dame and Pitt we'll talk a little more about that later. Reason why next guest we had this on, I saw this Friday night on Twitter. St. Francis Academy here in Maryland is the #1 team in high school football. Yeah, we have the #1 team in high school in football here, Matt. I know it's a shocker.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on,
Whole country?
hold on, Chris, repeat that again.
St. Francis Academy, okay,
Yeah.
is #1 in high school football.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I thought
You
that's
mean
what
the
you
whole
said.
country?
Yeah. So they went to they were supposed to take on #2 ING Academy from Florida. Well,
I know where you're going.
yeah. Well, somehow they didn't want to play. So I'm bringing in some higher authority here. Let's bring in Anthony Villamaro, who covers for the Rivals, who does high school football. And we need to figure this out here, Andy. What happened between St. Francis and IOG? We don't see this in college football. 1 versus 2, and one looks at 2 and goes, "We're not playing you this weekend because I don't feel like playing you." You know, it's like, what happened?
Well, funny you bring that up. Actually, earlier on a pre-recorded pod, I kind of brought that up actually when if you go back to the BCS era and you had the #1 versus #2 team, I actually depicted. Think about it from the high school level of IMG St. Francis. Compare it to right now, Ohio State and Georgia going to play. Supposed to play each other in a BCS national championship.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say it was exactly IMG St. Francis that is, an official national championship, but for a lot of people is like a de facto one, just because, both teams considered, the top team in the country, depending on what, ranking service you're going by. I believe you'd be going by Max Preps. They listed St. Francis #1. I know with our Rivals composite national rankings, IMG's #1. But I said, think about if Ohio State and Georgia were supposed to play each other, and one of the teams just said, "No, this is not working. I don't think we're gonna play just because, it just doesn't make sense for us. I mean, there's kind of a gap, and we're afraid our guys are gonna get hurt before they go to the NFL, and we can't have that happen. So,
Right.
we're not gonna play." So that would be like the equivalent of, to college football of this game not happening on a high school level, or, a lot of people would be like, they're not high schools, but academies, boarding schools, whatever you want to, put them, they're all on this high school level.
Mm-hmm.
This would be 2 of the premier programs in the country.
Yeah. When I first saw it on Twitter, I'm thinking, somebody have COVID? Because it's like something back in COVID year. We had the COVID outbreak. Like you have these games canceled because one school tested positive for COVID, and you don't want the other team to travel. And I'm thinking like, no, I don't think they have COVID, because if they had COVID, they would probably be all over ESPN, saying like, this is why they can't play. But I guess, I just don't understand why these teams can't play each other last Friday. It was like, okay. Yeah, I know Maryland is not the greatest, but it's not the sexiest state for football. I get it. Because around here it's like we don't have really good football programs for high school, but they try. But I guess are they going to reschedule this, or just like forget about it?
There's no plans to reschedule this specific matchup. So it had one really. What was going on was the 2 teams were looking to reschedule this matchup. Now, what is kind of out there is there was a date in December. One media outlet had it December 10th. The game was going to be played. I believe it was going to be either in Bradenton or in Baltimore. Locations also varied. So, which you guys probably know, Baltimore in December is probably not the place you want to play championship. You probably would want to play it down in Bradenton, Florida, where it might be in the 70s or 80s, depending on the day Florida gives you. But they rescheduled it, or they were trying to reschedule it, and I got to talk to St. Francis head coach Masai Halamarian, and we spoke for about 30 minutes, and I mean, obviously not happy with what happened, and I feel though he was really upset because IMG kind of made this decision on their own. They didn't really communicate with St. Francis to try to reschedule or
Mhm.
work, continue working together on, getting this game to happen. He felt like they kind of just woke up, had this statement prepared to release to the world, and they were kind of left in the dark. And to St. Francis, for a I know the school's over by a prison. I know it's not far from you know it's like right around the corner from what I know, and it's not a big campus by any means. They don't even have their own practice field, from what I understand. So for St. Francis, this game meant a lot. This was a game that they felt like, it was putting them on that national championship platform where they would get to face their rival IMG, which geographically doesn't make any sense because IMG is in Florida, St.
Yeah.
Francis is in Maryland. But the past few years, every time they play, they've turned this kind of up a notch every year, saying this is a rivalry. And he mentioned in the call me and him had, and on the record, he said the rivalry is now in jeopardy. He doesn't, he feels like that this situation, because of how it unfolded and what ended up transpiring, he feels like he doesn't want to put his team in that kind of situation ever again. Of what if next year they're in the same spot and they're, the top two teams in the country and they want to work something out. He kind of already knows what may happen.
Right. That's just crazy. Adam, you have a question for him?
Yes, I mean, if I'm St. Francis, my IMG Academy, get the ESPN and show this game on national television. Because it's 1 versus 2. ESPN always has great high school football coverage on all year long. But I live here in North Carolina, and North Carolina always has some really good high school football programs, from the coast to the Charlotte area to where I live in Western North Carolina. And is there any good local talent from here in the greater Asheville area that On3 and Rivals.com is looking at for, that could go to a D1 school next year?
Well, I would say for me, I cover more of the kind of teams aspect, the rankings,
Okay.
breaking news. We do have evaluators who, they give these, future college football players the stars. I do get a lot of inquiries from players almost on a daily basis on what can they do to basically attain these stars, which I feel bad. I can't really do anything. I mean, I do have my own personal opinion about the players and the ones I get to see live. But, on a team aspect, I'd say one team in your area on a national level that I think over the last 2 or 3 years has really kind of, elevated is Grimsley High School in the Greensboro area. Grimsley's been a perennial power, won a state title last year. Faison Brandon, he's a Tennessee commit, 5-star quarterback. He's slated to return here for the NCHSA playoffs, and with him at the helm, I think the Whirlies have a great chance of winning another state title. And I would say he's probably the state's top recruit.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, we here in the greater Asheville area, we all there's a lot of good teams like AC Reynolds High School out of Asheville. There's TC Robertson, Cherokee High School always is good. In the county that I live in, we have Pisgah High School, which has always had some good recruits go to FCS schools. We have my alma mater, Tuscola High School. We have had players go to Liberty. our coach now, Jonathan Crompton, he was a quarterback at Tennessee, so we know so it's called. Okay, I will say this, Andy. It's called next year. What you need to do is come down here to North Carolina because we have one of the biggest high school football rivalries in the Southeast, and that's Tuscola-Pisgah. As someone who went to Tuscola, I have gone to several of these games, and let me just tell you, it is like that week is called you either pull for Tuscola or you pull for Pisgah. The 50-50 drawings have gone over $50,000. So I'm encouraging you and anyone else at On3/Rivals next year to come down here to Western North Carolina and experience one of the biggest high school football rivalry games in the Southeast, featuring the Tuscola High School Mountaineers and the Pisgah High School Black Bears. You will be in. You think it's called those fans? They get loud, they get rowdy, and Pisgah won this year, but so you guys are always welcome to come down here and experience the annual battle for Haywood County, Tuscola-Pisgah.
I'm always a fan of going to a game that has great vibes, and actually I was in.
You would love it. You would love it. It's called and actually a couple of years ago, Tuscola snapped a long losing streak versus Pisgah, and fans and students ran on the field. And as a former Tuscola High School Mountie, class of 2000, I ran on that field, and I was damn proud to run on that field because when we snapped, I believe it was a 10-game losing streak to Pisgah. It was quite good. So, it's called. You guys need to come down here and experience the Battle of Haywood County next year, which is at Pisgah.
All right. Well, I was just at a great rivalry in South Georgia with Valdosta to Lowndes, so always up for seeing a great.
This game has actually been a part of the Great American Rivalry Series, sponsored by the United States Marine Corps. I don't know if it was part of this year, but it has been over the last maybe 5 to 10 years, or even longer.
Wow. That's a good old-fashioned rivalry there, Adam.
Oh, it's a good one.
All right, Andy, thank you so much for coming on tonight, sir. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, guys.
All right, man.
Thanks,
talk to
Andy.
you later. See you. Bye.
So Chris.
Hey, Adam, there's a good old-fashioned rivalries. Keep on.
Oh, trust me. It's called when I say people start to come to the game starts at 5:30, you'll see people in this, the game starts at 7:30, you'll have people already in the stands at 5:30.
See, Adam and Chris, we don't really get to experience this because we live up in the north. But people that live in the South, they live, breathe, eat, sleep, and drink their football.
Do we ever?
Well, to me, we don't have it up here because
drink 24/7.
Well, I think the only thing that comes closer to is the Calvert Hall or the Turkey Bowl. That's the only thing up in this neck of the woods. City Poly used to be great.
A big time rivalry, but not like the rivalries that they got down the South.
Oh, we got trust me.
Plus, they got that Friday night lights.
Oh yeah, no, we know. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, the stadiums in Texas are huge for high school football. I saw one last night on Facebook. Some guy was taking a picture, and you can see the city of Dallas in the suburbs in the backdrop, and it's like look like a freaking MUT Bank Stadium.
Yeah.
Wow, and that's a high school field.
Yes, it is. It's called. There's one down in Georgia that it's like I believe it's in Beaufort, Georgia. I mean, they have one of their stadiums is like over the cost was over $2 million, and it's off from what I've seen. It looks like a college stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, when
Well,
we look at the Austin area, whether Austin, Dallas, Houston, I mean, the whole Texas area, I mean, it just is filled with nothing but like football, and the whole South, Alabama, Georgia. I mean, it's they just breathe and just eat and drink and sleep the weather football, and and that's what they absolutely live for, which is awesome.
Oh, we know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's called. Yeah, so it's called next year.
And
You guys need to
you don't mess with their teams in the South either. You're either
Oh
you either
no,
root for
it's
one team
called.
or another team. You keep rooting for
I can
both.
tell. It's called. I can say this to you guys. I can tell you stories about the Tuscola-Pisgah rivalry. You
Mhm.
know what people have done to like the stadium and like the high schools. When I say they're passionate. So
Yeah.
I've experienced it as being a Tuscola High School Mountaineer. So I've seen it firsthand. So I wasn't part of, any of the, but all I can say is, that's people call it the Battle of Haywood County. They call it the Paper Bowl. I mean, it even has its own Wikipedia page. I kid you not.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Wow.
Oh, it even has some. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for something here. I'm trying to find something here.
Well, we wait for Dan Tatora.
Yeah, Dan's coming in. Don't know about Mike Burnup. I think he forgot. I texted him this afternoon because he told me to remind him, and he was all set to go. I guess being a 9:15 start, he probably fell asleep. It's okay.
Okay. Do we still have that guy coming on to preview the Grey Cup?
Yes. Reason why we're talking about the Grey Cup because we used to have the Grey Cup here in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to pull up something here so we could.
Oh, by the way, Adam, we did get snow here in Maryland, but it was in Western Maryland. Western Maryland got 6 inches of snow.
Good, because we got like an inch here, and it's like.
But it was
people
cold.
Panicked and people
Hey, it
panicked.
was cold as garbage, man. It was cold today. Jeez.
Well, yeah, it was cold here.
Yeah, this is cold for November. I mean, I'm not used to it being this cold. This is the kind of weather we're supposed to get in December, January, February, not November.
Thank you. Not now.
Yeah, not now. I was like, I had a sweatshirt underneath my my jacket for McCormick today. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's because I wore my long johns to work yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not. Yeah, I was like,
when the Weather Channel said that deep parts of the South and Alabama and even parts of Florida could have received record cold temperatures today because of how cold it would be. I mean, some parts of Alabama, Florida, they said could have been as low as 30 or 31 or even 32
Yeah,
degrees.
it's called in the iguanas fall. Yeah, it's called the iguanas fall off.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's like I say to myself, it's like, wonder how Danielle's doing with that. Since he's a meteorologist in Tallahassee, it's like Danielle. It's like.
Yeah, I saw that. I said they look out for the iguanas, jumping, falling out of the sky. I'm like, what?
And I told Danielle, I said, I guess everyone's gonna go to Publix and go stock up on food. I was like,
why? What happened?
Oh, because you know how people panic over all this crazy nonsense. It's called if it snows, they go to the grocery store and they get the bread, the milk, the eggs, and after and on top of that, now they'll probably get the alcohol. But it's like,
Well, Adam, has Chris ever told you how crazy they get over here in Maryland?
No, but I believe it.
Oh my God, they get nuts, dude. They're nuts.
Like I said, I believe it.
Okay, well, here's the thing. All you have to do is have a forecast. The meteorologist.
Yeah, and they all go cuckoo.
And then the stores are like packed. People are buying the bread, the eggs, the milk.
Like I said, they're all going cuckoo over nothing.
Yeah, they all go cuckoo. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like they all flock to the store.
Like
some damn geese.
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to talk college football, Dan.
I know.
Whenever
I
you're
think Dan told me he was running behind schedule today or something. And I said,
But
we got to stay at 9:45, so take your time, dude.
but yeah, it's like people when they hear of the snow, it doesn't even have to start snowing. Just they hear of it, Adam, and then the grocery stores are packed. Food
I
is off the
know.
shelves. I'm like,
Matt,
come
you
on.
know where I work, so it's like I get it. Just me.
I mean, if you're calling
Oh
for a
yeah,
foot of
it's
snow,
how we
that's
do
one
have.
thing. But if
They
you're
have.
calling for this, maybe
I
3
know.
or 4 inches.
I know we said it earlier in the show, but I want to say Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you've done for, to represent our country over the years. And a lot of people did get discounts. If you are a veteran. So
Yeah. Well, do you have,
And
speaking
then,
of Veterans Day, do you have
and I
anybody?
do want to add one thing, Adam. I want to
Yeah.
add one thing, and just thank for all the vets and everything. Thanks for all that you've done to serve our country and to do what you've done to serve our country, so we can have the freedoms that we do have today.
thank you.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you guys, did you have anybody in your family who were in the military?
No, I know I had a few. I've had friends that have gone in the military. So
Okay.
Yes,
What about you?
actually, my mother was in the military.
Okay. Your mom was in the military? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, your mom was in the military. Yeah. That's why she runs boot camp in your house,
oh, she does now. Oh, okay.
Would
Yes,
you
boot
know,
camp.
Chris?
No, I had
101.
yeah, I had two grandparents who were in the in one was in the Navy. My dad's father, Bill Senior, or we called him Pop. So he was in the Navy. He was the guy that fixed the boats, like fixed the Navy ships. So that's plus he was a local fireman too. So
Cool.
yeah, and then my grandfather, my mom's dad, Mr. Albert, he was in the Army Air Force.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, he's coming on. He's finishing up a live something.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah. So he was in the Army Air Force. Yeah, because the Air Force used to be part of the Army, and then they broke away. So yeah, so he went to World War II with the Air Force and all that stuff. My father, the luck of he one day he was supposed to go to Camp Hamilton up in New York to get for the Vietnam War, and the week before he was supposed to go there, he broke his collarbone.
Oh wow!
Playing football.
Wow!
Oh wow!
So he basically he was lucky he got an 4F, and he didn't have to go to the Marine to Vietnam. So
wow.
Yeah, but I salute them all. I know they all sacrificed their lives for us, and and I was watching something today. President Obama hopped on a plane. They flew into the seniors for World War II or whatever. Flew into D.C. And he hopped on the plane and he said, "Thanks for all your service and all that stuff." And all their faces were like this, because you don't see a former president thanking them personally.
No, and I was.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be political or anything here.
No, I get it,
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, but I just thought it was pretty cool to see see him on the plane, and and handshake with everybody coming off the plane. He's and took pictures with them, and to me, I think that was cool. Yeah. So we thanked them today, and yes, they did have a lot of them did have free stuff online. It's free food at.
Wow.
Yeah, there was all kinds of restaurants that was giving free food, and I mean some you had to show your DD 214, but
Yeah.
I mean
I know where I
mean,
work.
there's a lot of restaurants that was giving food and stuff. In fact, I work with some vets and everything. There's vet reps where I work at, and so I mean, it's what's good. It's good that they honor day, and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I still had to work and everything, So
Right.
I was not off, but so I started going to the office and all that.
Yeah,
but-
well, yeah, well, where I work at Publix, we actually get cut anyone who came in as a veteran. They got 10% off today. So.
Oh wow,
Mhm.
that's cool.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah. What else? I saw like Mission Barbecue had a free meal.
Mhm.
There was a lot of different places that
Mhm.
yeah, but it's really cool that these but it's fascinating when I was watching that video about people when they came back from the war, like Vietnam, they booed them. They
They
booed them.
did. They did.
They booed
Wow.
the soldiers and said boo to you.
Yeah.
And to me, that just doesn't make any sense.
Oh no, no.
Like, why are you booing them?
Oh no. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know it's called. So Chris,
They're still waiting
regarding
for
college football play, it's called regarding the college football playoff. Do you think Georgia Tech should be ranked ahead of Miami?
I think they should because but the funny thing is Georgia Tech doesn't play Miami at all.
I know.
So
The last few games
I
are.
don't understand these schedule. No offense. I'm glad Virginia lost last week because that made their loss in the ACC count because that game against NC State was a non-conference game.
That's right.
And to me, I feel like that's a conference game. Like come on.
That's a non-conference game that should have been a conference game,
Right.
And it wasn't. Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Before we move on to a little bit, we'll wait for Dan to roll in. Reason why we played the Doors earlier on the show because on this date in 1969, Jim Morrison got arrested by the FBI for drunk and disorderly behavior on a flight to Arizona for a Rolling Stones concert. Yeah, I'm like, wow. Yeah, I guess he was a little drunk in public. Yeah, and then on this day in 1982. Joe Entebelli, who we see here, I'll pull this up here, who replaced the great Earl Weaver. And a year later, they won the World Series in Baltimore with him. So, so on this day in 1982, he took over for Earl Weaver.
Wow.
Yeah,
I like Earl.
Yeah, from the 1983 season. So 1983, they won the World Series right after he took over.
Crazy.
So if you look at the timeline, Earl should have stayed one more year.
Agreed.
Because if he did, he would have won the World Series. Because they had that epic series with the Brewers at the end of the year that Don Sutton pitched that complete game against the Orioles.
Yeah.
And that was the final game of saying like, see you later, Earl. I was thinking of Earl today. I was up in Pennsylvania dropping off stuff I do during the day. And you know what I saw on all these homes have different people who are contractors.
Yeah.
I saw a van that says Earl Weaver Construction.
And this is a PA?
Yeah, I'm in PA. And I'm thinking I was like, Earl Weaver Construction? I'm like, are you serious? I'm thinking like, and I'm driving back on, oh, forget you, Earl. You're not going to Hall of Fame, Earl. Remember that classic video I played with him, like, with the umpire? You touched me right here, bud. No, I didn't, Earl. Yeah, crazy. Did you hear this, Matt, today? That looks like Loxley is going to be fired by the time the end of the year is over.
Oh, another coach.
Yeah, they're working on a buyout. The problem is, they have to do it before December 1st, or else Loxley gets less money. It's like it's the way they set this thing up. I was reading it yesterday. I don't know if it's true or not, but they're trying to figure out the program's not going anywhere. It's like it's stuck in the mud. Literally.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about
Don't get me wrong. Mike Loxley is a very nice guy. I see him at the.
Yeah, that's because I enjoyed.
He doesn't even know my name, Adam, but he saw me last year at the basketball game. He's like, "What's up, dude? How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm."
At least he knows. Well, at least he sort of knows you. I mean,
Yeah, but I'm like, cool, nice. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
nice guy, but
well, yeah.
Maryland football used to be the program when they were in, and they talked about this on Sports Talk today, that they're still stuck in the ACC. Everything in that stadium you saw, Adam, was all
I
ACC.
did. I did.
They can't
Well-
win Big Ten, games.
Well,
Yeah.
well, the Big Ten is tougher than the ACC. I'm not yeah, they got tougher competition.
Mhm.
But so that's not shocking that Maryland's struggling. Now, with Florida State, do you guys, Adam, do you think that they're going to keep Norvell, or do you think they're going to?
Well, they are keeping him for at least the end of the year. It's
Well,
like
I mean,
Yeah.
but do you think they're going to ask them to come back for the 2026 season?
I don't know, Chris.
Well, here's the thing. I saw something today on Facebook. Our friend Priscilla and Danielle was talking about. Guess who's talking to Tallahassee, talking to Florida State
Hey,
administration?
Chris. Yeah, and I know.
Who?
Yeah, and I saw this too, and I know where you're going.
Hi, my name is Jim. Hi, I'm Jimbo Fisher. How you doing?
Oh,
I saw.
yeah.
Let me do my Jimbo. I gotta do my Jimbo. I gotta wait.
Go
I
for
gotta
it.
wait
Go
Dan
for
roll
it.
in. Let me do my Jimbo. Yeah, I'm doing great today. Thanks for coming on here. I'm doing really good with the show. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Great job. We went to Taco Bell today. Got some nice chalupas before the game, and I don't understand our quarterbacks. They can't run the ball. They can't do nothing. I don't understand.
Except except Chris, you're missing one thing. He talks a lot faster.
Oh no, yeah, I think somebody at the SEC media day one day, like, did you clock yourself how fast you talk? And he goes, no, I didn't.
I mean, he talks like
He talks fast.
does.
Chris,
He
Chris,
sounds like a NASCAR driver. coaching
yes,
Florida State.
yes, Chris.
Like
Yes,
Taco Bell.
yes.
Taco Bell is pretty good with our sponsors for Taco Bell and Jiffy Lube. Like. Oh my god. Yeah, so he's talking to
so fast that you can barely even understand.
Well, he's talking to the administration. So here's my question: is why is he talking to him now?
I don't know.
No. This is my question: is like they're not going to get rid of Mike anytime soon until the end of the year. So what are you working on? Are you working on something like after the final game of the year against Florida? Yeah, they're going to say, sayonara, Mike. Have a great day. Here's Jimbo. Is Jimbo going to come in the middle of the night and like be like the Mayflower that took the Colts out of Baltimore?
Or like, or is he going to be like the Cape Crusader?
That's a sore subject around here.
Oh my God, it is. Around here is sore, dude. My dad's a Jet fan, and he always calls me up and goes, "It's that day." I was like, "What day, Dad?" He goes, "What happened in 1984 and with the Colts leaving this damn town?" I was like, "Yep," and they're still stuck on it. Like Nicole still thinks the Ravens are the Colts. They're not the Colts. They're the Ravens, and they've been here the same amount of years that the Colts were.
But the thing is, every fan that follows NFL, remembers that day when in the middle of the night they left and went to Indianapolis, and every single passionate fan remembers and still is pissed off about that to this day.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I still remember the videos of what's his name?
Art Modell?
No, of William Schaefer, Mayor Schaefer of Baltimore.
No.
Yeah, I can't believe they left in the day of night. I'm like, well,
I
said to my mother one day, I said, they could have had the Colts here if they just gave the guy what he wanted.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's true.
And that's why they sped up with the building of Camden Yards, because they were afraid that the Orioles were going to leave.
They're afraid the Orioles.
Why would the Orioles leave?
Because back in because Memorial Stadium was so old.
Yeah.
But you have history for Memorial Stadium.
Right, I agree with that. History, and yes, they have history. But what I look at it is that's why they signed that agreement with Baltimore City to build Camden Yards for 1992 season. Because it happened in 1988. They lost 12 in a row. They came home and they had a fantastic night. You know, bird watchers, because I used to have that. My parents used to get those tickets, and it was pretty cool. And they signed a deal with the city of Baltimore to build down at Camden Yards. So technically, Camden Yards basically saved Baltimore from without having a major league team. Yeah, because they were thinking about moving too, because they just lost their friend, the Colts.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get that, the Colts, like Johnny Unitas did not play in Indianapolis. Okay, they should just gave the records back over. So if you're the Irsay family, because I know Jim, and the other Irsay passed away last year, this year, and the daughters are running it now. Be a good girl and get the stats back to Baltimore. Yeah, because I saw it the other day. Another stat, like Daniel Jones had broke somebody's record. I'm like, he wasn't there. Yeah. Johnny Unitas didn't even know where Indianapolis was.
Sure.
So anyway, in the meantime, let's talk CFL football. And
we get to talk about
we'll get Dan on another time. I don't know what's going on. I waited until Dan gets show. I'm not going to stay on until after 10. So not tonight. Here's a little clip for you folks here in Baltimore. We had I'm wearing the Stallion jersey tonight. You see it? The old, Baltimore Stallions. So
Baltimore Stallions.
Shout out to Jim Spiros and the rest of the folks out there we have on our show. So howdy. So this happened years ago, 1995, when Baltimore became the first American team to win the Grey Cup. So here's the clip.
Who sat out 7 games this year with a bad elbow, leads the team on first down, throwing underneath. This is David Sapunjis, and he gets over the 50-yard line up to the 53. Sapunjis led the CFL in receiving as well.
Let's see if Flutie goes into his fire offense, which means no huddle. We're going to get a penalty in a fight already.
No love lost between both of these teams. Each finished 15-3 during the regular season. We told you this is their second meeting, and Calgary has won both. Now, earlier this year in Calgary, the Stallions went up to McMahon Stadium, lost, but they feel that they had a pretty good excuse for losing that football game.
Well, it was their 3rd game in 8 days, so they kind of felt like the travel and everything else did not make that a fair fight.
Gain of 12 in the last play. First down, Stewart over the left side, and he goes nowhere as Alfred Payton comes up to make the tackle, the 5th-year player out of Grambling.
He is a stud. Out of Grambling, as you said, 18 sacks this year. And Gus, he can defend the run as well as he can get upfield and chase a quarterback. Good football player.
A 1-yard loss makes it 2nd down and 11 from the 52-yard line for the Stampeders. And this is Doug Flutie out of the shotgun. Plenty of time, firing underneath, then it's broken up. O.J. Brigance, the middle linebacker.
That's Gus Johnson on the call for ESPN.
And my brother Will still hates Doug Flutie.
Hey, it's got he beat Miami.
Yes, exactly. Did I tell you the story before we bring our friend from Montreal? Did I tell you the story that Will saw Doug Flutie at Notre Dame, Matt? And I said, well, there's Doug Flutie. He goes, I know.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. You told me that story many times. And
yeah, my brother Will. Doug Flutie and Frank Wright are not allowed to be spoke to in my house.
So if I said the words Doug Flutie to your brother, what would he say?
He gets angry about that, dude. He's like he hated Flutie when he was in the CFL too.
Well, it's called. Oh, yeah.
So let's bring in Cliff Pine, who does the flight deck for the Montreal LOS, who used to be the Baltimore Stallions. So it's pretty cool to have some reference with you guys this week with the Grey Cup against Saskatchewan. I love that word, Saskatchewan. I love it. I miss the CFL. My dad and I, my dad tunes into it all down here because we have it on the CBS Sports Network, Cliff. But so big game this weekend up there in Winnipeg. Is it going to be cold as anything in Winnipeg this weekend?
Actually, weather-wise, it's actually looking to be pretty nice. I mean, even sorry, I'm not good at doing the conversion, but it's supposed to be 10 degrees Celsius on Friday, and
Okay.
going into the weekend, it's actually going to be cool but not freezing, which is funny because a lot of people love to call Winnipeg Winterpeg, but truthfully, it's going to be nice. I mean, we might get some snow late Sunday. Maybe by the time the game is over, that's when they'll start snowing. But weather-wise, it's actually going to be relatively pleasant. It'll be definitely football weather, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was a kid, we had the CFL here in Baltimore, and I remember the Eastern Final between Baltimore and Winnipeg, and the field goal kicker for the Stallions, or AKA the CFLers, they were called the CFLers because the lawsuit, and he kicked it in the 40-mile-an-hour wind right down the pipe to beat them in the cold in Winnipeg. And my dad said to this day, he said that's still the greatest kick he ever saw. In the cold, with the wind blowing 35 miles an hour, and basically, he got it straight right. He could beat BK right down the pipe.
Was that Carlos Huerta?
No, it was the guy before that, the year before that. Yeah, that guy. But that to me, that's still the greatest kick in Baltimore history, besides Justin Tucker. Now that record's gone. It was 67, but to me, I still think that was the best kick in Baltimore history. But anyway, just talk about Montreal. We were trying to get Kristen Rambo on tonight, but he couldn't get on. I guess they have stuff going on. But that's a Miami guy playing for you guys. From the Hurricanes. What has he been doing this year to help you guys out?
Oh, Charleston Rambo's just been. He's come as advertised. I mean, he basically walked on to this team last year out of nowhere, and just all he does is just make play after play happen. And he was actually extremely clutch in the Eastern Final against Hamilton this past Saturday. The game-winning drive essentially was basically Davis Alexander marching the ball downfield. He gets into trouble. He throws an absolutely beautiful pass, basically in a phone booth. Gets right through everybody. Rambo snags it, goes for a clutch first down to basically set up the Alouettes, to burn some more clock down and just take it down to mere seconds left to allow Jose Matos Diaz to kick what ended up being the game-winning field goal.
Wow.
He's an absolute beauty. Rambo is just all year. He's just been consistently good. He's had some problems with drops here and there, but I mean, by and large, he is definitely a very integral part of this Montreal offense.
Yeah, I got to ask you. I heard some bad stories up there in Canada. They're trying to ruin the game and get back to try to use like the U.S. rules. Change the field around and all that stuff. I think to me that's crap. I don't just leave that team, leave that football alone up there. Why do you have to mess it up? That's just crazy. Why are they doing that?
You'd have to ask the commissioner, who is convinced that a lot of these rule changes are going to make for a more exciting open football, which I think this game is pretty exciting as it is already.
Yeah.
I think certain tweaks need to be done for certain things. Like one thing that he did make very clear though was that like the altering of the rouge is to eliminate the idea that it's a loser point or a rewarding failure. To him, that was something that needed to change or be modified, and that's a change I'm actually looking forward to because I have a hard time too accepting the thought that maybe a Grey Cup game even could end in a 1-0 score because someone missed a field goal. People would be up in arms over that.
Yeah, I love the scoring. It's funny with the CFL. I said to my dad, like, "Hey, Calgary's up 1-0." And he goes, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, 1-0." He goes, "I was like, how did he get that point?" I was like, "Well, they missed the field goal and they didn't bring it out." He goes, and then, like you said, it could be a Grey Cup down the road. It could be 1-0 Montreal this weekend. You never know. It could be 1-0.
As it stands right now, that could happen. Like this would be the last year that could happen, and even Montreal fans would be like, "What the heck? 1-0?" Like this isn't the Montreal Canadiens; it's the Montreal Alouettes. You're supposed to score more than one goal.
Hey, I love Gary Carter. When I was a kid growing up, Gary Carter hit a solo home run in the 9th inning to win the game for the Expos. So come on, you got to. Yeah.
Okay, but all this to say that 1-0 is not a football score.
Right.
And
No,
Exactly.
no, it is not. No,
it's like
it's
last
not.
night's Monday Night Football game. It was 10-7. The whole game. It was so bad. It was like I was like, ew, God. It's like, good God Almighty. It was like slow and and I get defense is supposed to be great, but that was boring. Like, geez.
Yeah, I love a good defensive battle. That's what we saw in the Eastern Final last week. I love a good defensive battle, but last night was a snooze fest, quite frankly.
And the one on Thursday night was a snooze fest too. With the Denver and don't call me Vegas. I'm still calling them Oakland. They're Oakland.
The Raiders.
The Raiders. So, anyways, does Montreal have a chance to beat Saskatchewan? Because Saskatchewan is like the favorite right now to win this Grey Cup on Sunday. Up there in Winnipeg.
Oh, there's definitely a great chance. I mean, the way that Montreal's been playing, they've caught fire at the right time. They've had their injury woes, they've had some issues. They even went through a bit of a slump earlier this year, but they managed to get their act together, and they've been playing some pretty outstanding football the past few weeks. Saskatchewan too has definitely looked really good all season, but I found that they were starting to coast a little bit towards the end. Like once they had sewn up first place in the Western Division, they were kind of taking their foot off the gas just a little bit, just enough that they started looking a little bit beatable. But then they managed to crank it back up for the Western Final and look like that dominant team again. I mean, this is a very evenly matched up Grey Cup as far as I'm concerned. I mean, either one of these teams could win, and definitely both teams can put points on the board. Both teams have stellar defenses. I'm excited in the simple fact that this is going to be a very even matchup. And pretty much whoever flinches first, whoever makes the first mistake, that could be the deciding factor in this game. Like that's how tight I truly see this one being. I thought last week's Eastern Final against Hamilton was a tightly contested affair, and it was. This game has potential to surpass that. Like I think I don't see a blowout for either team, quite frankly. I think both teams, even though they both have great offenses, I think everybody is going to have to earn everything on Sunday. It is going to be, as far as I'm concerned, a very entertaining matchup. Maybe not be entertaining in the traditional sense, but I think it's going to be entertaining in that you're going to see some honest to goodness, hardcore smash mouth football.
Yeah, exactly. Adam, you have a question for?
Sure. So since you cover the Montreal Alouettes, I'm going to say, bienvenue, since my last name is French Canadian, and I always have enjoyed the CFL. I know it's now here on CBS Sports Network. It used to be on ESPN. So, who are some of the key players for the Alouettes besides Charleston Rambo, the people who don't follow the CFL that need to look out for Montreal on Sunday?
Well, what's great is the game will be broadcast on CBS Sports Network. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I strongly suggest you do.
I will.
What time's the kickoff? 6:30? I got to call my dad tomorrow and let him know that.
It is 6:30 Eastern time. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my dad
Yep.
loves.
Thank you.
Yeah, he loves the Grey Cup. He loves watching it.
Listen, it's a tradition like no other. I mean,
oh yeah,
Super Bowl is fantastic. No, don't get me wrong. The Super Bowl is truly an event unto itself, but there is just something so special about Grey Cup. It brings an entire nation together, and everybody comes and converges on the city. Like this year, it's Winnipeg. Everybody's going to come down, whether you're a BC fan, a Toronto fan, a Montreal fan, doesn't matter. Everybody comes together, and everybody has fun, and they talk football, and they share stories, and they, even chirp each other a little bit, all in good fun. I mean, it's just simply a celebration of what makes Canadian football so special, and it all culminates with what should be a truly fantastic game on Sunday night. I mean, you've got a party that's going to be starting later on this week here. Like, as I said, everybody's going to come here. They're going to get their drink on. They're going to get their party on. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's all leading to a really, really exciting football game. And when you got these two teams that are in it, Montreal and Saskatchewan, they've got history. 2009, 2010, they faced off in the
Yeah.
Grey Cup. Montreal won both of those games. So you know Saskatchewan is definitely looking to get off that schneid. They want that revenge that they were denied 15 years ago. So that alone is going to make for a great storyline for this game. I mean, you've also got great quarterbacks. You've got killer defenses. You've got special teams. That could very well be the deciding factor as well. I mean, who can kick that game-winning field goal for Montreal or for Saskatchewan?
Yeah.
There's, like I said, there's just so many storylines to this, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Montreal does. I think Saskatchewan is truly a great football team as well. I think it is going to be an absolute bar burner. When it's all said and done, I think we're going to look back at this 112th Grey Cup and we're going to say, dang, that was one hell of a match. And I have no question in my mind, the best team is going to win. I don't know who that is yet, but
It's Montreal. Sheesh. I mean,
listen,
I think Montreal wins. I mean, it'd be nice, I will say this, Cliffy. I know that everyone in Canada was rooting for the Toronto Blue Jays to win the World Series. I know what the ratings were, on Sportsnet up there in Canada. So I'm hoping that the Alouettes can win. There's a couple of players I recognize on the team. Shea Patterson is a quarterback I recognize. Obviously, Charleston Rambo. So I'm hoping that's a good competitive game, and I'm hoping the Montreal Alouettes can bring home another Grey Cup, to the city of Montreal.
Yeah.
That's been their rallying cry. Is they call it the grind for 9, because if they win, this will be their 9th Grey Cup championship.
Yes.
So that's been the motto for the team this year is grind for 9. So they now have that opportunity. So if they can get that done, bring the Grey Cup back to Montreal, back to the province of Quebec, you're going to see a party like no other, because that's one thing Montreal is good at. They love to throw a good party. They love a winning team.
with plenty of Molson, Labatt, and it's called. And if they want want good stuff for breakfast, they'll go to Tim Hortons and go get their coffee.
Oh, there you go. See,
Oh, yeah.
you know what's up. You know what's
Adam,
going on.
We got to go to Canada, big guy. You and I need to go there.
Hey, Chris, it's called you and me and Matt, and then we could go. Our friend Francois Lavoie from the PBA Tour, since he's from Canada.
Yeah,
it's how we can
I would
go.
love to go see. I would love to see a Montreal Alouette, you guys football game up there, because we used to be here.
I would too.
And a Montreal Canadiens hockey game and a Toronto Blue Jay baseball game. I think that would be fun too, just to see and see different things in Canada. Like besides,
we could go see where the Olympics were in in 72 or 76.
Adam and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but before we go to Canada, we would have to get our passport.
Yes, 100%. You would need that.
Was all three of us have to get our passport in order to go?
Oh yeah, I got mine already taken care of. I'm good. Yeah, I have it all.
It's called I'll get one. It's called I'll go up to Canada. It's called I'll go.
Update it, but it's what it is. Who cares?
Well, listen, if you guys make it up, I guarantee you will have the time of your life in Montreal. It is a city like no other.
Oh yeah, it's called
I would just like to go around and see what's going on. I'd like to see all the old history, like like the expos. Because I was a Gary Carter. He was my idol when I was a kid growing up, and I had a chance to do it twice. And I have a Expos jersey in the closet because of him. Because it's Gary Carter. Yeah, he was the man. He was the kid. Same with Rusty Staub and Andre Dawson. It was. Did you see the Netflix thing about the Expos?
I did, and
that was bad. I was watching that whole thing. I was like, that's really bad with what they did to him. And they're still having problems in DC.
And what makes me laugh is that apparently you can go to any ballpark in America, any Major League Baseball park in America, wearing an Expos hat or jersey, and the love comes out. Like people are like, "Oh, we miss the Expos. We love the Expos." People always have such reverence for the Expos, and then why did you vote to contract them? That's what I want to know.
I know.
I have an Expo sticker on my.
Yeah.
I can say this clip's called. I have an Expo sticker on my computer, and it's like, to me, it's called one of the coolest mascots ever was the Montreal Expos.
UP?
We got a question for you there, Cliff. Somebody sent you a question. Tim, keep hearing the team is doing it for 425. What does that reference to?
That would be the 425 Squadron of the Royal Canadian Air Force, which is based in Quebec.
Okay.
So when the team talks about doing it for the 425, it's paying reference to that because that squadron was called the Alouettes, which is what inspired the name for the Montreal Alouettes all the way back in 1946.
Okay.
So when they talk about this team is very big on history, remembering and celebrating the history of the past. Not necessarily representing the Stallions, unfortunately, because I think they should recognize that part of them as well. Because let's not forget,
Jim Sparrows is a nice friend. He's a good friend of our show, and
Yes.
and he's so great. And I got a chance. There's a little quick story before we move on. My parents made a pumpkin for him for Halloween, and he actually put it in his office, took a picture, and sent it to us. Like, hey, thanks so much for the pumpkin. I saw him years later, and I said, remember the people who gave you a pumpkin with the Stallion logo? He goes, yeah. He goes, how's your parents doing? I'm like, they're doing okay, and he doesn't know my parents, but it's still like he still remembers stuff here in Baltimore and all that stuff. And he's so nice guy, and if he's out there watching, hello to him. I guess maybe he might be up there. He might be up there this weekend. You never know.
Well, it's funny because a lot of Americans will come up for Grey Cup. There's a contingent that come up and they'll rock like the jerseys, like the Memphis Mad Dogs, Baltimore Stallions, the Las Vegas Posse. Nice. It is amazing to see it, and same as like wearing an Expos jersey in a Major League Baseball park.
Yeah.
Canadians see those American team jerseys and like, wow, respect, because that's going way back. Like that shows how long you've been paying attention to the CFL. That's amazing.
That's great. Matt, do you have one more? You have the final question, Matt. Do you have any questions for him?
Yeah. Like a few minutes ago, you were talking about visiting Montreal and everything. Like it would just be a great place to visit. So for those listeners that have never visited Montreal or that area, we'll just tell people like what they can do and why it would be such a great place to visit.
It's a city like nowhere else in North America because it's got that European style, that European charm to it without having to get on a plane and fly across the ocean. Nice. You have it right here in North America. You get English, you get French, you get to see incredible architecture, amazing food. The music scene is absolutely incredible. There's so much to see and do, especially in the summertime. Every weekend there's a festival of some sort going on, and it's just to celebrate the city itself. It is tremendous to see, and you get people from all walks of life, all different cultures, all coming together and just being a part of what is, I truly feel, and maybe I'm biased because I live there, the greatest city in the world. I mean, it's one thing to talk about it, but really until you come up and experience it for yourself, even if you just come up for the weekend and just see a few things here and there, I guarantee you'll get hooked. You'll want to come back and just see it over and over and over again. It really is a special place in North America. I mean, there's a lot of great cities, don't get me wrong, throughout Canada and the United States, but I mean, Montreal just really is like a spectacle unto itself. And I could talk about it all day, but you got to come and experience it for yourself.
There's all kinds of fairs and festivals and everything, and all kinds of things what to do up there.
Oh, whatever you want to do, like that's what makes it great too. Is there's literally something for everybody. That's what
I know. One thing I'll do. Cliff is coming. I'll go up to Montreal since I love my motorsports. I'll go to the legendary circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and I'll go catch the Formula One Canadian Grand Prix and go see the best of the best compete at that legendary track, because they have a place on that track called the Wall of Champions, and throughout history you've had sensational Formula One drivers sit that wall, and it's called, I watch the Canadian Grand Prix almost every year. So one of these days I do want to go up there to the circuit Gilles Villeneuve and go watch Canadian Grand Prix. So it is on my bucket list, Cliff. I guarantee it.
Yeah. There you go. That's just one of many things you do.
Yes.
And
exactly.
That's a great one right there. Like the Grand Prix is definitely an event that's just no comparison to it. It really is incredible.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we're going to get off the air here, but thank you so much for coming on tonight.
So real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
So I can go to Montreal and feel like I'm in England or Scotland.
More like France, actually.
France. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yes, yes, there is English that's spoken in Montreal, but it's predominantly French. But I mean, you definitely can speak English there, no problem. But if you want to get that sort of old world European flair, and mostly France, like you get a lot of France vibes to it. But
Yes, you will.
And yet it's funny at the same time, you've got cutting edge technology here, and you've got the old world, look of many centuries ago, even with the architecture. I mean, you get both of them in the same city. Talk about the best of both worlds. It is, again, something you really have to experience for yourself.
Nice.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And where can you find you on the flight deck, right? You guys are doing a post game after the Grey Cup?
Yeah, we're actually going to be doing a pregame live on our show Flight Deck Live before the Grey Cup. And then when the game is finished, win or lose, we're going to be on. We're going to be sharing our thoughts on the game that we just saw. And also throughout Grey Cup week, we're going to be interviewing players, coaches, and so on. And we're going to be posting that all on our YouTube page. So make sure you check that out as well. Head over to www.alouettesflightdeck.ca to get all of our links. And yeah, definitely give us a like, subscribe on YouTube as well. We definitely appreciate that. And we're just looking forward to doing a whole bunch of content and really getting everybody excited for the Montreal Alouettes and the Grey Cup itself.
Nice, cool. We'll be watching down here in Maryland. So
in North Carolina.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the Grey Cup. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you having me.
I see it. Bye.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, that's Christy Pine, who covers the Alouettes with the Flight Deck, and you can watch that Grey Cup this Sunday night on CBS Sports Network, or up in Canada on TSN. And it's live from Winnipeg. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. We never be on after 10, but we had to this week because of stuff. But we want to say thank you for everybody for joining us. We'll be on next Tuesday night. We're going to start every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
Fine by me.
Because I'm not going to go up against anybody anymore.
Fine.
Yeah. 8 o'clock, that's where we're going to do it. Yeah,
well, Chris, you mean you don't want to have to go ahead and go to PA, New Jersey, Virginia,
the only reason I'm doing it because
back to for the 7 o'clock or 7:30 show.
Well, I was trying to get back last week, and I was like, nah, it's not going to happen. Yeah. But we appreciate you folks for joining us tonight. We'll leave you with a song from you probably know Pearl Jam.
I know Pearl Jam. Oh yeah, I know Pearl Jam. Pearl
Jam recorded this song back in 2003 off the Lost Dog album on this day in 2003. It's Last Kiss is an old 60s song that they recorded. So we're going to leave you with that, and we want to say thank you folks for joining us. We'll see you all next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, and thanks for joining us. So here is Pearl Jam.
Because when tomorrow hits, it's going to hit us all hard. This song is called Last Kiss.